And into Friday we go. It is a very quiet night, a little bit on the dry side. No arguments about that as of right now, so definitely some good news where that is concerned. So if you got any travel plans for tonight at least, you should not be seeing any problems out across the area. Towards Sunday, that again is going to be where we see the potential for some more rain coming our way. The current forecast has really not that much in the way of rainfall coming our direction, so there's good possibility we will see some rainfall coming up, but doesn't look like a lot. Does look like the potential of maybe a wet start to Monday. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit. It is Friday evening, the 2nd of February, which means we're a couple of hours away from all that groundhog nonsense being over with for the year and a true American holiday coming up as we go into Monday. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. This is Weather Overtime. This is coming to you live and direct from News 12 in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee. If you're on Twitch or Facebook, welcome to the show. We're helping to add hopefully either a couple of services like YouTube, doing things directly on there at some point, but we haven't quite gotten around to that. So we'll let you know when and if that's going to be a situation coming up here relatively soon. So stay tuned to us on News 12. 70 degrees, came within 6 degrees of a record high temperature that hasn't been broken since 2016. 35 the low, very close to normal. Record low today, 4 degrees, set back in 1917. So we did manage to get some very mild numbers across much of the area today, and looking like it is going to be a fairly mild one coming up this weekend. More on that in just a little bit, so stay tuned for more there. Our weather window of the day, since we are still 6 weeks away from winter, no matter what that furry fake forecaster has to say. Weather window of the day showing a frozen koi pond from Rossville, Georgia. I've always wanted a setup like this in my backyard. While I'm at it, I've always liked to have a backyard, but don't have that right now. Kay McGinn, hope I'm saying that correctly, in Rossville, Georgia. Thank you very much for our Langley Roofing weather window picture of the day. If you got weather pictures to share, please send them in to us at pictures@wdef.com, and we'd love to see more about what you are seeing across the area there. So stay tuned for more on that, and we'll keep you updated on all of that in the course of the next several days and weeks. Let's go ahead and hop into at least some current conditions for the time being. We do have, again, dry weather and very clear skies tonight. Good for the International Space Station flying overhead not too long ago. Plainview Outdoor Advertising Camera, 153 and 64. Everything moving along pretty well there. From around the area of downtown, Bailey's Heating and Air Camera. Little hazy over downtown, those pollutants settling down, so we're not seeing a problem on that location looking off to the southwest. More of that haze in the street lights at 2475, but traffic much better than what it was just a few hours ago, moving along quite nicely. Our News 12 Chattanooga Zoo camera had some issues earlier this week. Thank you, News 12 engineering staff, for fixing that and getting things ready to go again. Chattanooga Zoo Cam zoomed in on the Erlinger Hospital area, looking back to the northwest for tonight, and taking a look at downtown at the News 12 studios. Camera looking off towards Signal Mountain off in the distance. Patriot Concrete camera, traffic on I-24 moving along very nicely, so very quiet conditions there. And one more before we get to the rest of the weather. Chattanooga Theater Center, Speedy's Total Car Care camera. Looks like some craft have just gone by because some ripples forming in parts of the water there. The Tennessee River was like glass earlier tonight. Calm winds reported at the airport, so not seeing any problems again for tonight. Temperatures are down in the 40s and should be dropping another 10 degrees or so as we go into later on tonight, but not doing too bad. Off for a round of golf on Saturday. Doesn't look too bad, but it will be, again, a little brisk in the morning with temperatures back in the mid to upper 50s to lower 60s as we go into Saturday. A little cooler for Sunday out there as well. And then for the outdoors forecast, again, not too bad. A very chilly morning across the area, and that is where we will see the potential for some nicer conditions. We will get some sunshine mixed with a few clouds. Doesn't look like much. Chances of rain after this forecast on Sunday rather than Saturday, but we will see again the potential for some more of that rain chance coming up across portions of the area. Now, for tonight, there's really little, if anything, going on. We do not have anything in the way of precipitation across the area, hardly any clouds either, so SAT-RAD is not getting too much in the way of SAT and nothing in the way of RAD, as we have some very dry conditions out there. We're looking again at more chances of rain well back to our west, and then not much going on. Notice that little arc of cloud cover sitting across portions of the area, right back around the mid-south. That is the trailing edge of the cold front that moved through today. And yes, there was a cold front that moved through today. You can also just see a little bit. Let me see if I can get this put into motion so we can get a little bit better idea as to what's going on. Again, that's the cold front, what's left of it moving through portions of the area here. And then you notice just a few wisps of clouds over into the Carolinas. That's the leading edge of that semi-drier air. It's not really colder, that's for certain, given our temperatures today. But that weak cold front did settle on down and made its way through the area and will continue to do so into later on tonight. Now, we do see, again, the potential for some fairly dry conditions, and you can thank, let me see if I can get that right. That's the wrong one. Apologies on that. Let's see, who moved my stuff? There we go. Okay, 72-hour forecast. High pressure down to the Gulf, helping to push back against this cold front and kind of basically letting it fall apart. So into Saturday morning, there might be a boundary left over here, but really not much more than that. Into Saturday afternoon, pleasant temperatures in the upper 50s to lower 60s, and then some more clouds taking place. Into Sunday morning, the rain starts moving our direction well back over to the west of us and west and southwest at this time. Way on down here, this is where we start to see the next system, that one across the Rockies, heading our direction and coming this way, digging down to our south. So this is not going to be a major problem for this system moving on through down to the south of us. It's going to kick up some moisture headed up this direction, and that is where we start to see the best potential of rain Sunday afternoon through about mid-evening and overnight. By early Monday morning, there could be some scattered light showers left around, but that's going to be about it. And then as we get into the forecast for Monday, we should clear out, plenty of sunshine for the next American holiday coming up there. And by Tuesday morning, kind of chilly with some clouds, but most of the rest of the next week should be dry, very mild, very comfortable. And then we'll watch for that next system to arrive off the west coast. And that is where things could get very interesting out that direction. We're starting to see again what looks to be another decently huge size atmospheric river shaping up. Let me switch over from this graphic to our internet page so you can see a little bit more about this. This is from the Weather Prediction Center from National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, and we posted this on our websites tonight for this weekend around Sunday through next Wednesday. The last atmospheric river just a few days ago, that channel of moisture over the Pacific Ocean and slamming the west coast with tons of rain at the lower elevations, snow and ice at the higher elevations, lots of wind, lots of fog, and some pretty poor travel conditions out this way. They're issuing another advisory, so to speak, for the next couple of days as we see again the potential for this storm to bring another round of very, very heavy rainfall in some areas. Some parts of the Sierras and back down into the coastal areas, San Francisco to Bakersfield, LA, Santa Barbara, back around areas close to the west coast in general, will be picking up possibility through Wednesday afternoon of 10 inches plus of rainfall. So we are looking at some very poor travel conditions out this direction. For mountain snow, we're looking at major to extreme impacts into the Sierras primarily. So east of Fresno, basically south and west of Reno and the Tahoe area, back to the west, back to the east of Sacramento, and into around the upper Cascades, that is where we're going to be seeing the worst of the worst. And we could be talking about feet of snow here. This is going to be great news for busting the drought out this way. This is going to be wonderful news for the ski resorts, especially if you can get there before the system moves in and then just park yourself there and ride out the storm. Should be some wonderful skiing, no question about that. But it is also going to be very, very tricky to get through this if you're not prepared for it. I would anticipate from Sunday through about Tuesday, Wednesday, some big travel problems out in this area. High surf could be an issue as well, potentially damaging, according to the Weather Prediction Center. Flash flooding, a good possibility. Low visibility, wet roadways, not great for traveling. So LA to at least Portland, maybe not all the way up to Seattle, but Portland, Oregon, down to San Francisco, and down to around west of Vegas, down to about LA. This could be some very ugly travel conditions out there. So please keep that in mind if you're going to be doing any traveling out that direction. And then that storm system starts to make its way through our area as we get a little closer toward the end of next week. That's going to be about Friday or so. So we will be seeing more chances of rain heading our way, but not immediately anyway. Island Cove, Marina and Resort, a lot less clouds than what we saw last night. And then we see the potential of rain starting off very late Saturday, going through portions of the area on Sunday, and maybe lingering into Monday morning. Doesn't, again, look like much, but it does look like we are going to get some more chances of rain. Now, Groundhog Day is over with. Next Monday, a true American holiday, National Weather Person's Day. So if you'd like to celebrate that, stick with News 12, and I'll have some suggestions on that. Don't need to send any root beer in. It'd be nice, but not saying you have to. But thank you again, at least for the thought anyway. Take a look at these numbers all the way throughout the rest of next week. Numbers will be very pleasant. Normal high temperatures at this time of the year, pretty much around the lower 50s. So that is where we're going to be seeing the temperatures coolest into the next few days. The rest of the next few days, temperatures in the 60s for highs, 30s and 40s for low temperatures. Next best chance of rainfall will be coming up by next Friday, and that is our next West Coast system heading our way into the rest of this next week. The rest of the week itself, dry, pleasant conditions, chilly at night, mild during the day, and then toward Friday, that's where we get that next potential of getting some rainfall out there. Doesn't look like much, again, but we will be watching this throughout the course of the rest of the week, so keep it tuned to News 12, and we'll keep you advised as to what we may be thinking of. While we're on the topic, again, there's no severe weather expected out of this next system, not even from the one on Sunday, and then the next week on Monday. There's not much expected to be going on. The quiet part of the year is anytime it's quiet, that's the time to get ready for severe weather. So the National Weather Service in Morristown, which covers the WDEF News 12 viewing area, for Chattanooga and Hamilton County residents next week tonight, Friday night, the 9th of February, 6 p.m., CHI Memorial Hospital on to Sales Avenue. Register to attend. It's totally free, but register for a seat to make certain that they've got enough space for the meeting hall. You could become our next Skywarn spotter, and the more Skywarn spotters we have, the better off we are all going to be to know what to look for and what to call back into the National Weather Service on this wonderful device here. Or if you're an amateur radio operator using that mode of communication, this is great information, again, for the law enforcement community, police, sheriff, anything in the way of emergency responders, EMTs, ambulances, fire, anything like that can call information back into their central dispatch, and then that information, like the Skywarn spotters information, can go to people like me, my colleagues here, other places around that need to monitor stuff like that, and then we can tell everybody else what's going on with the weather, and that is some of the best information we can possibly get. So next week, Friday, if you're a resident of Hamilton County and Chattanooga, great opportunity to learn more about severe weather. Again, totally free, but register for a seat at weather.gov/MRX. About a week after that, 2 weeks from yesterday, 2 weeks from Thursday at this point, the 1st of February, 2 weeks away from that on Thursday, February 15th, Bradley County 911 Center in Cleveland, Tennessee, your chance to, in Bradley County, learn about severe weather and how to call in information and what to look for, and more importantly, how to stay safe. We're only featuring events here that are in the News 12 viewing area. If there's more of them out there, if you live, maybe you're picking up on this outside of the viewing area and you want to know what's going on in Roane, Loudoun County, Blount County, Knox County, Cumberland, places like that in Tennessee, and down into around areas closer to Atlanta or Huntsville, check out the National Weather Service, check out the one that covers your area, and then click on their Skywarn link, and that'll tell you if you have a meeting scheduled for your area. So please check that out. If you live in Bradley County, your opportunity in about 2 weeks or so. And I definitely want to see if I can get this in here real quick before we sign off for tonight. This is coming up next Tuesday, and it's going to be off of our patch. We're in Chattanooga, but Huntsville National Weather Service covers a part of our area, so we want to make certain that if we have any viewers in DeKalb and Jackson County, Alabama, that you are well aware of this. Again, this is for the deaf and the hard of hearing community, that if you would like to learn more about severe weather, this is really great outreach from the National Weather Service in Huntsville for a severe workshop for the deaf and hard of hearing community that will be held in Huntsville. More information at their website. CART services and, again, ASL providers will be provided for this. I'm trying to learn sign language. I'm not good. I think it's yet. But I need more practice. So bear with me on this as we try to get a little bit more of that sign language into the community here, if at all possible, but I have a long way to go on that, so please use patience with me. In the meantime, this is a great service from the National Weather Service, so anybody in and around Huntsville, North Alabama, who is deaf or hard of hearing, please consider showing up for this course. Again, ASL interpreters and CART services provided, so please consider learning more about Skywarn and severe weather from the National Weather Service in Huntsville. Coming up this weekend from the UTC Clarence T. Jones Observatory on 10 North Tuxedo Avenue. Their star party, according to the information they posted today, is still going on, but it's going to be rainy and cloudy, so I don't know how much is going to be open. Go to their social media pages and check out more about their information there. And you can find out more. The lecture this week is going to be great. Continuing this lecture about the moons of Jupiter. There are a lot of moons in Jupiter, so nice to be able to look at that. And the constellation featured this week is Gemini. The gates open at 5:30. Lecture and planetarium show at 6. Telescope viewing, if there is any, again, weather permitting. That'll be this Sunday the 4th, so find out more about that at facebook.com/UTC Jones Observatory. Coming up in about 2 weeks or so, well, actually, that's next week, as a matter of fact. Next week, Saturday, Barnard Astronomical Society will be holding their star party at Harrison Bay State Park, barnardastronomy.org. If you'd like to find out more about what the situation is here and about amateur astronomy in general, go to barnardastronomy.org for more information. And last but not least, I want to throw this out there. Again, I'm an amateur radio operator. I try to promote this everywhere I go because it is such a fun, knowledgeable hobby to have around. Amateur radio is not a dead hobby. It is still very much alive. And with the catchphrase, again, when all else fails, amateur radio works. This is one of the best things out there to do as a hobby. You learn about electronics, you learn about safety, you learn about communications, you learn about international cooperation, you learn about all sorts of different types of technology. It's not as expensive as you might think. Several of the longtime amateur radio operators out there, nicknamed Elmers, are the type of people who take very exquisitely nice care of their equipment. They're very good about that, and sometimes they donate it to newbies. Sometimes they donate it to clubs so they can use it, or they take very good care so they can use the parts as per necessary. But coming up in a couple of weeks at Saturday, February 24th, 2024, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the North Georgia Fairgrounds in Dalton, Georgia. The Dalton, Georgia Amateur Radio Club will be holding their next Ham Fest. It's a great way to go around and get information. It's a great place to purchase equipment. It's a great place to ask questions. So if you'd like to go, their website, again, qrz.com/db/ W4DRC, Whiskey 4. See, it was Delta Romeo Charlie. It's been a long time since I've done the alphabetic side of things on this, but that'll be in a couple of weeks. Great place to learn about amateur radio, so please check that out if you'd like to learn more, and we'll feature more ham fests as we get information about all of that. Think that should do, well, let's see, let's do one more and see if the internet has eaten the page, and yes, it has, unfortunately. So, unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to say, okay, I do. So, hang on 2 seconds here. Let me put this out real quick so we can take a look at this. Our Panagua Auto Mall weather question of the day. According to forecasters who actually know what they're talking about, NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, Punxsutawney Phil's overall accuracy in forecasting 30, 50, 75, or 99.9%. And the correct answer, unfortunately, things reset on the system, so the information on there was not featured, but it was 50% was the correct answer. So with Phil, flipping a coin is just as good. That is our Panagua Auto Mall weather question of the day. Thank you very much for being a sponsor, and thanks for checking out information about our website and everything else on there, and checking out with more polls at wdef.com/vote. Now, of course, you can always find out more on my social media pages if you'd like to take a look around: Facebook, X, Instagram, or a whole bunch of other places. I need to make a new graphic for that one at some point in time, so stay tuned for more there. I think that should do it for tonight, and for that matter, for the week. So that'll be it for Weather Overtime for Friday. We'll be back with you on Monday and to find out more again about what's going on through the weekend. Our weekend meteorologist, Todd Heislip, will have more on your forecast both Saturday and Sunday nights at 11 o'clock, so stay tuned for more there. I'll be online at wdef.com/weather, keeping the forecast updated at times, so stay tuned for more on that. And, of course, we got more to wrap up the week on WDEF News 12 at 11 tonight, so stay tuned for a great way to wrap things up on the weathercast and the rest of the news and sports out there. We'll keep you updated on that. Bishop Bob Midget coming in on Facebook. Thanks for joining us, and all the people on Twitch as well. You have a great weekend as well. Say hi to Mr. Josh for me as well. Yeah, underground meteorologists, I don't really pay much attention to them anyway, and I was waylaid by a giant groundhog earlier. Go check out my social media pages for more on that. That'll do it for tonight. Live and direct from Chattanooga, I'm Chief Meteorologist Austin Onek from WDEF News 12 in Chattanooga, Tennessee. More online through the weekend, and stay tuned for more on air, and I'll see you back here again coming up on Monday afternoon. Let's be careful out there. Have a great, joyous, and safe weekend.